Coming up on Citrus TV News, SU's annual Service of Commemoration is tonight. We've got details on how the pandemic is changing the ceremony.
And the big dance is only days away. Syracuse men's and women's teams will both hold their shot at bringing a championship back home to the Hill.
And Syracuse University's Student Association Assembly passed a new constitution last week. Voting is on My Slice until Thursday. News Live at 6 starts right now.
This is Citrus TV News Live at 6, your campus news leader.
Syracuse is holding its 4th Service of Commemoration to honor SU and ESF students and staff who have died since January of 2019. Good evening, I'm Manny Martinez.
And I'm Walker Simmons. The service is being held virtually to adhere to coronavirus guidelines. And new at 6, this year's Service of Commemoration will be held virtually, but the meaning of the event still holds true. CitrusTV reporter Carmella Boykin is at Hendricks Chapel to break down how SU is holding the event this year. Carmella?
That's right, Walker. I'm right outside Hendricks Chapel, where if it weren't for the COVID-19 pandemic, SU and SUNY ESF would be holding their 4th annual Service of Commemoration. But because of the pandemic, of course, that's not the case. The event will be held virtually. Now, the Service of Commemoration is set to honor the members in the SU community and the SUNY ESF community whose lives have been lost over the past year. But the challenges with the virtual event is to make it just as impactful as if it were being held in person. Now, Hendricks Chapel Communications Specialist Delaney Van Way says, Hendricks Chapel is grateful to our campus partners at Syracuse University and SUNY ESF who have helped us create meaningful virtual experience that all can experience safely.
Now, Carmella, even though the event is virtual, I'm sure much of the content will be similar to an in-person event. What speakers will we hear from?
Well, Manny, of course, we'll hear from the SU Chancellor, Kent Severud. We'll hear from ESF President Joni Mahoney, as well as the SA Student Association Presidents and Vice Presidents, and also the Lockerbie Scholars.
And Carmella, you mentioned community members will be honored. What else can we expect?
And, well, Walker, the event usually honors community members who've passed away within the last year. But due to the pandemic, the 2020 event was canceled. So tonight we'll hear members who have passed away all the way starting from January 2019 up until today. And because the event will be held virtually, there also will be a series of pre-recorded segments. And even though no one will be behind me within Hendricks Chapel, there will be candles lit on the stairs. Reporting live outside Hendricks Chapel, I'm Carmella Boykin, Citrus TV News.
Thanks, Carmella. Event registration is still open on Hendricks Chapel's website. The commemoration begins tonight at 7. New details regarding the Student Association's revised constitution. The Assembly today voted to pass new bylaws. CitrusTV reporter Lindsey Fine is in studio to break down some of these changes. Lindsey.
Thanks, Manny. SA Assembly voted to pass a new constitution last week. The document is now being voted on by SU and ESF undergraduate students today through Thursday. If 10% of the student population votes and the bill passes, it will go into effect on May 10th.
We need a new constitution. It will dramatically change in a positive way the way that SA works, and our hope is make it a more effective organization on behalf of students.
The Constitution will essentially restructure much of SA, including adding unique population seats to the Assembly, separating cabinet members from committee chairs, and changing the Judicial Review Board to a Supreme Court. The SA parliamentarian Josh Seltzer says he hopes the changes
will boost engagement, hopefully boost the amount of voices that we have within our assembly.
The Constitution referendum vote is happening this week, so it will be passed in time for the next campus-wide election in April. Seltzer says SA is making these changes at this point in SU's history.
In response to a lot of just like the campus unrest, there was clearly some kind of disconnect between the student body and the administration. And the more that I was thinking about it, the more I was really feeling that the Student Association, I think, has some kind of responsibility here, where, clearly we are not doing our job well enough to be the voice of the student body.
Another part of the new constitution is adding a second campus-wide election in the fall.
Currently, we only have a school-wide election in the spring, and then in the fall, usually we do a special election internally in order to fill some vacant seats. I've really hated that. I think that that's something that has kind of taken away the student body's voice, because we're electing positions that should be elected by the student body, but internally.
Even though some students say SA does not have enough power to get things done, Bruin says they can advocate for students in different ways.
We may not be able to necessarily pass a bill and implement something in university policy, but we can pass a bill and really push the university to change things, and we have. And I guess part of this constitutional change is addressing that.
The referendum vote on MySlice is going on now and ends Thursday. However, an email sent by the SA Board of Elections and Membership Chair says if you voted before 11:53 this morning, your vote was not counted, and to go back onto MySlice to vote again. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Now to the latest out of SU admissions. The school has another record-setting year for first-year applicants. As of last week, the admissions office has received almost 40,000 applications.
This is a 24% increase from last year's pool, and in that pool, students of color represent 39%, which is up 37% from last year's. This comes after an entire year of virtual recruitment. And the search for the next university's provost is underway, and they want your input. Members of the campus community are invited to attend a session with the search committee this Friday. The session is meant for students and faculty to have a say in what they're looking for in the new provost, and the meeting will be held via Zoom.
Syracuse University Vice President Robert Radsky is once again today warning students to remain vigilant. In an email sent to students today, Radsky said the campus community needs to continue minimizing its COVID risk.
And given that St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow and SU's Wellness Day is next week, it is even more important. Radsky says students should still gather within small groups, 10 people or less, wear a mask, and maintain social distancing.
And the Cuse is down in Indianapolis, and that can only mean one thing. It's March Madness. The Syracuse men's basketball team is entering the tournament as an 11 seed. The Orange are set to play 6th-seeded San Diego State on Friday. Tip-off for that game is a late one at 9:40.
But it's not just the men's team who's dancing. The women's basketball team came up as an 8th seed, and they'll be facing South Dakota in the first round on Sunday. Syracuse is just one of 26 schools to have both their men's and women's teams in the tournament. And looking for a place to study or hang with friends? Well, look no further. Throughout this semester, the Dome will be opening as an indoor spot to throw around a football, sit in the stands, and just hang out while staying socially distant.
Your first chance to take advantage of spending some time in the Dome was this afternoon, but if you couldn't make it, there will be another opportunity tomorrow. The Dome will be open from 11 to 6.
And School of Architecture professor Jesse Cook will have his art displayed in the Museum of Modern Art. The exhibit is made to explore the relationship between architecture and African diaspora communities. Cook's proposal focuses on the site of Pioneers Home, one of the first public housing sites in New York State.
And now let's turn to the lacrosse pitch. Women's lacrosse hosted Notre Dame for 2 games this past weekend, and fans were able to show up for the second one. Here to talk to us about the return of the fan experience is reporter Jesse Cook.
Well, sports fans everywhere have been missing the stadium experience, and they've been missing it bad. Whether they're first-year students who have never been to a game in the Carrier Dome, or they're upperclassmen who have been counting down the days until they could return, SU students are anxious to get back in the seats. So I took a camera out to the women's lacrosse game on Sunday to capture the feeling of being back again. It's been a long road getting from then, March 2020, the start of the pandemic, to now, March 2021. One of the most dearly missed aspects of pre-COVID life was attending sporting events, but that luxury is now back at Q's. Syracuse University season ticket holders marched into the Carrier Dome on March 6th for a men's lacrosse game against Vermont. But this past Sunday, March 14th, the women's lacrosse game against Notre Dame was open to the entire student population. Early in the second half of the women's game, I spoke with a member of Otto's Army, junior Matthew Jensen.
I mean, this is everything we could have dreamed of. You know, we've been waiting for this for over a calendar year at this point.
With fans in the stands, the team saw a boosted level of team output. Junior attack Megan Carney praised the work she and her teammates put forth in front of fans in the 15-12 win.
We're coming out, we're going to come out strong. We just got a few in the beginning and just kept that energy going, and that definitely helps us.
With new energy in the dome comes a new outlook on the future of the pandemic.
Just the amount of stuff that we had to go through to get to this point. You know, we're a long ways away from the light at the end of the tunnel, I guess, but just to be able to be back here, it's a big step in the right direction. We're really excited to, finish out this year's whatever ways we can, and then as we're going into next year, we're kind of looking forward to seeing what else we can do.
Men's lacrosse will host Hofstra this Saturday in front of fans at the Carrier Dome. From the stands at Ernie Davis Legends Field, I'm Jesse Cook, CitrusTV News.
Thanks, Jesse. Looking forward to get back in the dome. Also looking forward to get back outside. Weather hasn't been fairly nice to us these last couple of days.
No, it's been pretty cold, but at least we got a reprieve from the wind, though, today.
Right, pretty brutal. I'm hoping things will look a little better. Citrus TV weather anchor Nicole Aponte's here in studio. Nicole, how are things looking?
You know, things right now, 39 degrees in Syracuse, but the sun has been lying to us. I'm walking outside thinking it's going to be a nice day. 19 degrees yesterday, that's absolutely insane. But it's 39 degrees right now in Syracuse. It feels like 33. There's 8-mile-per-hour winds within our area, so you're going to need that snow jacket, some gloves, and that hat tonight. But looking into the future temperatures in our area, it's only dropping 2 degrees. 8 p.m., 36 degrees, and at 8 a.m., 34. Last night, it dropped to 19. But that's all the time we have today on weather. And Manny, Walker, back to you.
Thanks, Nicole. New details in the Syracuse City School District. Students are walking away with a new pair of sneakers. Dick's Sporting Goods is once again providing a brand new pair to children in Syracuse City School District. On Tuesday, more than 600 kids at Franklin Elementary received a pair.
Back in December, Dick's donated a pair to each student at Roberts Pre-K through 8 school. Dick's Sporting Goods representative Kim Myers says they are happy to be putting smiles on these students' faces. Onondaga County will be holding a pop-up vaccination clinic this Thursday. The pop-up will be at the Victory Temple Fellowship Church on East Willow Street. To book an appointment, call 315-474-4213. You will be asked to give your name, date of birth, as well as your phone number. Another step in the state's massive plan to implement cashless tolling, as all 240 booths will be removed by the end of this summer. It's part of the state's $355 million project to get cashless tolling. Drivers should slow down in those construction zones and use caution when driving.
And coming up, as the country continues to roll back restrictions and open up, schools may be next in line. Luckily, teachers at all 50 states will be eligible to receive a vaccine.
And there's also growing concern over a new variant of the coronavirus expected to become dominant in the U.S. within the coming weeks. That and more after the break.
Your girls have been with you through every moment of your life. They were with you when you felt unbreakable. With you that time you felt most alone. And with you when you realized you would never be. They were with you when you shared your love with the world. And with you when she became your world. Your girls have never left you. They're still with you right now. But how well do you know them? You don't know much. Knowing your breasts can save your life.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
You've messed up your son's haircut.
Mom?
Do you A, try to fix it?
Like it never happened.
B, work with what you got? Or C, show solidarity?
Thank you, babe.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
You're watching CitrusTV News with Tony Bianco, Walker Simmons, Nicole Aponte, Lindsey Fine, and Jesse Cook. CitrusTV News, your campus news leader.
CDC Director Rochelle Walensky expressed increasing concern towards a new COVID variant, especially during spring break. The variant has spread to more than 46 states and is expected to become dominant by the end of March or April.
However, with average daily cases hovering around 50,000, an increase in people traveling and relaxed COVID restrictions still threaten the ongoing coronavirus battle. Good news is that until now, nearly 11.5% of the U.S. population has been fully vaccinated. As more states broaden their vaccine eligibility, teachers nationwide are now able to receive their vaccine.
The expansion also increases the possibility of school reopening in the coming fall. This April, teachers and staffs for pre-K through 12 schools, child care centers, and licensed child care providers. And groups in Georgia are speaking out against voter suppression. Rights groups are asking larger corporations to assist in the movement.
Billboards with messages targeting these companies have popped up across the state. The latest is a message for Home Depot that encourages the Atlanta-based company to defend the freedom to vote.
And Gritty Energy has filed for bankruptcy weeks after they sent enormous electric bills to Texas residents during the storm. The company made its announcement on their website on Monday, blaming Electric Reliability Council of Texas, which runs the state's electric grid.
Gritty has an estimated $10 to $50 million in liabilities. Their bankruptcy comes after a huge February winter storm, which left millions of Texans without power for days. Sweden today announced it is suspending the administering of the AstraZeneca vaccine against COVID-19 due to reports of several recipients battling blood clots. Other major European nations like Germany and France paused the use of the vaccine earlier this week.
The European Medicines Agency will review the investigation results on Thursday to determine for the necessity for further action. However, the agency still claimed that the vaccine presents no risk in causing blood clots. And Brazil is hitting yet another grim milestone, this time setting new records for most COVID deaths per day. In the past week, they have reported over 12,000 new deaths and almost 500,000 new cases. This making them the only country in the world currently outpacing the U.S.
And as of Sunday, the ICU occupancy rate was above 80% for 21 Brazilian states. And of those states, 14 had an occupancy rate above 90%. With high hospitalization rates, it is possible they will run out of oxygen supplies within the next 2 weeks.
And the biggest sandstorm in nearly 1 decade swept over Beijing this Monday. The thick haze shrouded the entire sky with brown sand and low visibility. The air quality has been labeled as dangerous. Another warning for residents to stay indoors.
As Xinhua News Agency claimed, the increasing frequency and severity of these sandstorms in Beijing is because of drought, pollution, and insufficient revegetation.
And coming up, temperatures are warming.
Coming up, temperatures are warming up in time for the weekend. Will it stay warm through next week? I'll have more.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course.
Maybe he's really focused.
Maybe he likes spinning the wheels.
Maybe he just loves trucks.
Preoccupation with objects is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today.
From the Citrus TV Weather Center, this is SU's most accurate weather forecast.
CitrusTV News live at 6. I'm Nicole Ponte. Let's look at the current temperatures in our area. Syracuse, a nice 39 degrees, joins Rochester at 39 too. But Elmira 37, and right in the middle, Cortland is 33. Elmira actually experienced some snow today, but luckily here in Syracuse, I was able to experience the nice weather. You can see right behind me, there's no snow on the ground. This is great. I am super excited to see the weather. The temperatures are warming up throughout the rest of the week, but John Dales is in studio to talk all things sports. John, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Nicole, it was a big weekend for both the Syracuse men's basketball and women's basketball teams. I'll have all the breakdown on both of their trips to the NCAA tournament after the break.
Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
Did you hear about the pony with a sore throat? He was a little horse. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why couldn't the Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Where did cats go on vacation? New York.
And now, your Citrus TV Sports Report.
Well, it's official. Syracuse men's basketball is going to the big dance. There was plenty of doubt throughout the entire year whether or not SU would make its way into the tournament, but a late season surge with wins over North Carolina, Clemson, and NC State was enough to earn an at-large bid for the Orange. They were selected as an 11 seed in the NCAA tournament, and they will face 6th seed and Mountain West Conference champs San Diego State. This is a team that's won 14 consecutive contests, and Jim Boeheim certainly won't be taking them lightly.
I mean, I don't care if they're a 6 seed. They could be a 3 seed. They could be a 2 seed. They got everything you need.
However, this is a Syracuse team that's also playing its best basketball of the year right now. The Orange are coming off an ACC tournament appearance where they absolutely throttled NC State, then played top-seeded Virginia down to the final buzzer before losing on a 3. So the two teams are both on a roll, should be an exciting matchup, and it's taking place at historic Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis, yet to be confirmed if Jim Boeheim will be measuring the rim heights before the game. Late tip-off in this one, 9:40 on Friday night. And it was a busy weekend across both Syracuse basketball programs. The SU women's team will be going to the NCAA tournament as well. Quentin Hillsman's group is headed to San Antonio as an 8 seed, where they'll face 9 seed South Dakota State. The Jackrabbits actually earned this spot as an at-large bid from the Summit League. They boast a 21-3 record. And you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself here, but waiting for SU, if they advance to the next round, in all likelihood, will be the #1 overall seed in the tournament, the Yukon Huskies. The good news for the Orange, though, Tiana Mangakahia will be back. The senior point guard missed all of the recent ACC tournament with an injury, but says she will be good to go for the NCAA tournament. The Orange and Jackrabbits will tip off at 5:30 on Sunday. And Hofstra men's lacrosse went on pause this past weekend, so there was a lot of speculation as to whether or not the Pride would play Syracuse on Saturday. We now have an answer, and it's an emphatic no. The Orange will shift gears, and they'll be taking on the 1-2 Holy Cross Crusaders. The Cuse currently sit at #5 in the country, winners of 3 straight. This is the first ever meeting between the two schools. Face-off set for 12 p.m. on Saturday. And coming up after this short break, Nicole Aponte with your wake-up weather forecast.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average 4-legged homie, and then wham-bam minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high-five.
I see you mobbing over her. Let's go. Let's mob. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, we mobbing. Come on, girl. Let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl. Hey, let's crawl. Hey, yo, let's crawl.
Looking at our 5-day forecast, tomorrow it's going to be a cloudy day, but it's going to brighten up towards the end of our week, 56 degrees on Sunday. I am super excited to enjoy that warm weather. But looking into the wake-up forecast tomorrow, 36 degrees, and it's going to feel like 36 degrees when you wake up tomorrow, and it's going to be cloudy throughout the morning. Walker, Manny, back to you.
Thank you. In 2018, Loyola Chicago shocked the sports world by making it into the Final Four as an 11 seed. The NCAA tournament, in the process, the Ramblers' #1 fan, Sister Jean, captured the hearts of the people across America. Now with the team back in the tournament, despite the pandemic, the 101-year-old has been officially cleared to travel to Indianapolis to watch the Loyola Chicago play in their first round against Georgia Tech on Friday.
101 years old, and she's traveling to go see her favorite team play basketball. That's such a cute story.
I mean, that's the news you like to hear. That's great, especially during this time of year.
And that is our report for tonight on News Live at 6. Be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at CitrusTV News and like us on Facebook. I'm Manny Martinez.
And I'm Walker Simmons. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, Syracuse.